Hello and welcome to Unacademy, a one-stop destination for all the English medium civil service aspirants. Welcome to another session of Economy Weekly Recap, wherein we'll be taking all the important economy related articles in the last 1 week and we'll be analyzing these articles. And for today's video, these are the set of 8 articles that we'll be analyzing. Now before I start, a very important announcement. Starting March 16, we are going to launch a new online classroom program purely in English language. The classes will be taken by India's top educators, that is Samad sir, Shyam, that is myself, Chetan sir, Abhishek sir, Mukesh sir, Hemabindu ma'am. And to begin with, the classes of history will be taken by Abhishek sir. Now, not just this, if you are interested, please call up this particular number for further details, and you can also check out the link that is provided in the descriptive section. But before you do anything, please check out the fact that we are also providing a 50% discount for you, and along with this 50% discount, we will also be providing a 6 months free extension along with the course purchase. Now, let's start the discussion. The first very important article which has hogged a limelight in the last 1 week is the issue of gold loans, the concept of gold loans. There were two very important news articles. In one article, the Ministry of Finance has ordered to test the purity of all gold loan book. A notice or the letter has been sent to all the banks owned by Government of India. And second article, which appeared in most of the newspapers, that is RBI has stopped IIFL, a non-banking financial company, from issuing new gold loans. So these articles are very important. Let's try and understand what is the issue all about. Point number 1, you can take multiple types of loans from banks as well as NBFCs. Now one such loan that you can take from banks as well as NBFCs is a gold loan. Now many of you will ask me, sir, what do you mean by gold loan? Under gold loan, you will pledge the gold. You will provide gold as a security or a collateral, and certain amount of value of loan based on the value of the gold will be given to me. Now on what basis the value of the loan is decided? How? The loan is decided by the bank. For example, if I give you 10 grams of gold, will you give me 10 lakh rupees as a loan, assuming you are a bank manager? If I give you 1 kg of gold, assuming I have 1 kg, will you give me, let's say, 2 crore rupees in the form of loan? No, you cannot decide it arbitrarily like this. There is a process that is followed. What kind of measures that are taken in deciding the value of the gold? Let's look at it. The value of the gold is decided based on the purity of the gold. They call this as assaying process. That is, you will find out whether the gold has a quality that is 18 karat purity, 22 karat purity, or 24 karat, the most pure gold. So argument is based on the purity of the gold, because based on the purity the market price will also change. So one is purity, second one is right now what is the market price. Right now what is the market price, and the third factor is what is the weight of the gold that I am about to pledge or give it to the bank. So based on these 3 parameters, the bank will provide certain value of the gold in the form of loan. And when I am saying certain value of the gold, please understand what do I mean by that. Imagine by taking into consideration all the 3 factors, let's say the value of the gold is 4 lakh rupees today. Today in the market, based on the purity, weight and the market price, the value of this gold is 4 lakh. The bank doesn't give me, I repeat, the bank doesn't give me 4 lakh rupees in the form of loan. Rather, as per RBI mandate, it will provide up to 75%. 75% of this in the form of a loan. That will come out to be 3 lakh rupees. Now during pandemic, in fact, this was raised even to 90%. During pandemic, it was raised even to 90% for a simple reason. The households, people were suffering. Many of the people had lost jobs, had lost a part of their income. They were under a lot of pressure to take care of their day-to-day financial requirements. That is the reason, in order to ensure that they will get more money in the form of gold loan, RBI had increased it to 90%. Now it has been brought down to 75%. What is the issue now? What has been the concern? Point number one, please understand this. Gold prices in the last 1 year have increased. Gold prices have increased. For example, the government of India itself says the gold prices have increased in the range of around 16 to 17%. The prices per 10 grams has crossed more than 60,000 rupees now. Not only this, even the gold loans issued also have increased by around 16 to 17%. So one of the segment in the credit segment or in the credit market, one such segment which has been experiencing very high demand, which has been growing at a very faster pace, has been gold loan. Now the concern which has been raised by Reserve Bank of India in stopping IIFL, NBFC, IIFL to not to give any more new gold loans has been that. Point number one, RBI says the process of assaying has not been conducted correctly. There have been certain concerns raised regarding how gold loans are being issued. For example, let's say the purity of the gold that I am submitting to the bank is 18 karat. And just for sake of understanding, let's say 18 karat gold price is today 3,000 rupees. Again, hypothetical numbers, don't worry. 22 karat gold will have a market price of, let's say, 4,000 rupees. Now what this IIFL has done is, many of the instances, that is around 67% of the instances has been seen where the gold purity is 18 karat, they have not written it as 18 karat, they have entered it as 22 karat, which basically means what? I should have received on 3,000 rupees, 75% of it in the form of gold loan. But now I'll not be receiving on 3,000, rather I'll be receiving 75% of 4,000 rupees. Right? So that is one concern. Second concern is, many of these institutions in the last 1 year, RBI says, have violated the LTV norms. Now many of you will ask me, sir, what do you mean by LTV? LTV basically stands for loan to value, which is nothing but right now fixed at 75%. So let's say, again take the same numbers. I'm supposed to give you 75% of 3,000 rupees in the form of gold loan. But rather than this, RBI has mandated 75. I will violate it. I will give you 85% of 3,000 rupees in the form of gold loan. I might give you 80% of 3,000 rupees in the form of gold loan. So one violation has been found is the assaying process. The quality of the gold which they have taken as a collateral, they have not entered the quality of the gold correctly. They have entered higher quality. And second one is, they are supposed to fix it at 75% maximum. Now they are giving even much higher than 75%. And both of these basically means the IIFL or anybody who is going to give these kind of loans are taking very high amount of risk, are playing with fire in the gold market by not giving the right value of loans to the borrowers. That is one concern. Second concern, if you see the article, the PSU banks, they have received a letter from Ministry of Finance where the Ministry of Finance has stated that all the gold loans which have been issued from 2022, now they will have to check it. What is the concern? Why Government of India, or to be very precise, Ministry of Finance is asking them to review all the gold loans that they have issued? Reason is simple. There is a concern that has been raised by Government of India that there could be an issue of evergreening. There could be an issue of evergreening which has been followed in issuing these gold loans. Evergreening basically means a new loan to be very precise. A new loan is issued to the existing borrower. A new loan will be used to repay the old loan. Is it okay? I'll repeat it again. Evergreening basically means a borrower who has taken a loan is not in a position to repay the first loan. Now the bank will issue another loan which will be used, that is a second loan which will be used by the same borrower to repay the first loan. So Government of India is concerned that there could be evergreening which can be followed or which might have been followed by many of these lenders, public sector banks. Second one is, they are also concerned about what is the quality what is the quality that they have checked or they have basically entered into the loan books when they have collected the gold as a collateral. Because again the same concern, if the quality has been written at a much higher level, imagine it is 18 karat gold, but the bank official has entered 22 carat or 24 carat as a gold, let's say, quality. So that will be overestimation of the gold value. And if the borrower doesn't repay, now if the bank wants to sell it off in the market, even the recovery that they will be able to earn will also be affected because the quality of the gold will be much lower. So these are some of the very important points regarding the concept of gold loan, which has been there in the current affairs. Regarding this, RBI has taken certain measures. Even Government of India or Ministry of Finance has sent a letter to public sector banks. Now based on this, I have given a question here. The gold loan given by a bank or NBFC depends upon LTV ratio, loan to value ratio, correct? Market price of the gold, absolutely correct. Purity of the gold, absolutely correct. How many of the above statements is or are correct for the statement given here? All the three are correct. Right option for the question will be option C, all the three are correct. Now, let me go to the next article. The Government of India, or representative of Government of India at IMF, a review meeting has raised a concern regarding how Pakistan is using the funds or the loans which are issued to it by IMF. Now, what are the points here? Please understand this. Point number one, Pakistan in the last couple of years has been facing lot of economic issues. 2022, there was large scale floods. Not only lives were lost, but also economic activity was affected. Lot of value of the assets was lost. In addition to this, they are heavily dependent on many of the commodities. And because of Russia-Ukraine war, the prices of the commodities increased, and as a result of this, inflation has gone up to more than 30%, more than 20% for many months now. In addition to this, they have been demanding that they should be given certain financial assistance, financial assistance, because they are basically about to run out of forex reserves. They're about to run out of forex reserves. And what is the use of forex reserves? Forex reserves are generally used to repay external debt or external liabilities. And at one point of time, have a look at this, at one point of time, the amount of forex reserves that were there with the Pakistan Central Bank were not even sufficient to take care of 1 month import. That is, the import cover had fallen down to around 1 month. Basically means the value of dollars that were available was not even sufficient to take care of payment of 1 month's imports. And not only this, even the domestic currency, that is the Pakistani rupee, has continuously depreciated to a very greater extent. So there has been a depreciation of domestic currency. Add to these economic issues, even the political problems are faced by Pakistan. So over a period of time, what they have done is, they have approached IMF, because please remember this, any country whenever they face a BOP crisis or external payment issue, etc., they will approach IMF. For example, couple of years ago, even Sri Lanka approached IMF. India, the last time we approached IMF was during crisis in 1991. After that, we have not taken the loans, we have repaid all the loans. So the country approached IMF, and whenever you approach IMF, please understand, IMF says, we will provide you loans. You want assistance? Okay, we'll provide you with certain assistance. There are different types of loan products which can be used by the member countries. But whenever you talk about loans which are provided by IMF, please understand, generally IMF imposes certain conditions. IMF imposes certain conditions. Remember, that is point number one. And if a member country wants to get these loans, they will have to abide by these conditions. Reason being, IMF says, if I do not impose conditions, what is the guarantee that the money that I am going to provide you in the form of assistance, you will use it to improve your economic situation? You might simply use it for unproductive purposes. So there is always a concern. That's the reason IMF will impose a certain conditionalities whenever they provide, or generally whenever they provide loans. Point number two, whenever such loans are provided, IMF does not issue these loans in a one-shot loan payment, or let's say in one shot all the loan value is not given. What IMF does is they will periodically conduct reviews. They will conduct reviews, and based on the review they will feel that okay, the country is taking appropriate measures, hence let me issue one more round out of the total value that has been agreed. One more round of funding or one more round of loan shall be issued, and this technical terms is called as a tranche. Another tranche of loan is issued. Now historically what we have seen is whenever Pakistan has approached IMF, for example in the last couple of reviews, whenever Pakistan has approached IMF, the board has to review these the measures taken by Pakistan and vote. India has abstained from voting. India has generally abstained. Abstain means it has not participated in the voting. Now very recently again there has been a concern regarding the financial viability, the payment issue, external payment issue, and that is the reason Pakistan has approached IMF and they want to borrow $3 billion. Now in the recently concluded review, the representative from India has flagged an issue, and the representative says whenever such loans are issued, right, whenever such assistance is provided, we need to have a proper review mechanism wherein we have to ensure that the member country, that is Pakistan, will not use all of these loans to provide or to foot defense bills, which means the money, that is the loan that has been provided, will be used for productive purposes, not to ramp up their defense activities. That is a concern which has been raised by Indian representative during a review meeting in the International Monetary Fund. Now before I go to the question, couple of more important points here. What kind of tool is being used by IMF to provide loan to Pakistan? Please remember the name of the tool. It is a standby arrangement, SBA, and this is the most important tool. Most important in the sense, most of the countries, most of the times, whenever they face the external payment issue or BOP issue, they generally approach IMF and borrow under the SBA. And what is the other feature? The loan is generally provided with flexibility. There is certain flexibility with which loan is provided. That is, generally if you check, the loan issuance will be done for a duration, and the repayment will be done for a duration of 3.25 years to 5 years, etc. So there is lot of flexibility that is associated with this instrument. That is point number one. Point number two, this is a kind of a loan which is generally provided with conditions. Certain conditions are imposed, and once the country meets these conditions, the loans are issued or tranches are issued. For example, very recently IMF has asked Pakistan to raise taxes. Please understand this. IMF has asked Pakistan to raise taxes so that the government there will be able to collect more and more tax revenues. And whenever you come across the conditionality component of the loans, right, there is two ways to look at it. One way is IMF, by imposing such kind of conditions, is ensuring that the economic performance of such a country will start improving. For example, government's expenditure is expected to come down. Government is expected to collect more and more revenues, etc. But on the flip side, there is also criticism to such conditionalities. The criticism is that many experts argue that if a country is already in crisis, the people in country are already suffering, the IMF, by imposing such conditions, is increasing the suffering of the people. For example, what if more income taxes are imposed and collected on people who are already in crisis? Don't you think that increased taxation will become burden on the common man? The government in Pakistan some time ago increased the taxes on fuels, which was very famously referred to as a petrol bomb. Now people who are already suffering because of very high inflation rate, now you impose higher taxes on fuels, they will again have to pay more money and inflation will be again higher. So there is two sides to this idea of a conditions associated with the loans. Please be very, very careful. So these are certain very important points associated with this article, wherein Indian side has raised a concern that there should be a strict monitoring that IMF loans are not used for defense purposes. Now, based on the discussion, I've given a question here. Consider the following statements regarding ESPA. It is a long-term instrument providing loans only to poor countries. No, it is a short-term instrument, to be very precise. The loans are always issued in one shot as the countries are in dire requirement or dire need. No, that is also not correct. There are no conditions attached to such loans. Again, no, this is also not correct. All the three statements are wrong. So, right option will be option D. None of the statements are true. Now, let me go to the next article here. Depositors can claim unclaimed amount refund from DEA fund. What is the issue all about? Very interesting concept. Let's say you have a bank account. Okay, you have a bank account. Which bank? Don't worry, you have a bank account. Now, this bank account, for many reasons or one of the other reason, you have not operated this bank account for a duration of 2 years. And please understand, when I say you have not operated, I am saying customer has not initiated any transaction in the bank account. This is important. Now, if you have not operated this bank account for 2 years, then this will be called as inoperative account. Inoperative account, or else there is one more name for this. It is referred as dormant account. If you keep on operating, this is called as an active account. If you don't operate for 2 years, this is called as a dormant account. And when I say customer has to initiate transaction, please understand, in these 2 years, the bank could have initiated many transactions. For example, bank could have added interest to your bank account. Bank could have debited certain amount for providing certain services to you, right? So, various transactions could have been initiated by the bank. Those will not be counted. If you have not initiated any transaction for 2 years, then this is called as an inoperative or dormant account. Now, these accounts or the money in these accounts for 10 years, if the money in the account is not touched by the customer for 10 years, please understand, then this money will be transferred into a fund called as DEA fund. Is it okay? I'll repeat it again. There is an account which is your account. You have not touched the money for 10 years in that particular account. That money will be transferred into a fund which is operated by Reserve Bank of India, referred to as DEA fund. Depositor Education and Awareness Fund. Now, what RBI has very recently announced is, if let's say a customer comes to know that some of his accounts have become dormant or inoperative, and it has been more than 10 years that he has not touched the money in his account. So, now the customer can approach a bank, in whichever bank they have the account here, they can approach the bank, they can give an application, and they can activate this account, their own bank account, and also they can claim the amount which has been transferred into DEA account. All of you okay with this point? I'll repeat it again. Don't be confused. If you do not use your bank account for 2 years, it is called as inoperative or dormant account. Point number 2, if you don't touch this money for 10 years, then this money will be transferred into a fund which is called as DEA fund, which is under Reserve Bank of India. Now, one fine day, let's say you come to know about your account, you realize that, okay, I had money in that account, in that bank, now I want to get that money. So, go to your bank, give an application, your account will become activated, and the bank will also return your money. Whatever money was there in your bank account, it will also be returned. Okay. Now, once the bank will provide you this money, the bank can apply to the DEA fund. The bank can simply apply to the DEA fund, and this particular money which has been transferred to the customer will be given back to the bank from the DEA fund. All of you okay? Very simple transaction. Customer will apply and receive the money from the bank, and the bank will apply and receive the money from the DEA fund. This is what has been given in the article here. Now, rather than reading only this much or only this information, remembering rather than only this, I'll give you a couple of more very important points. What are the important points? Last year in the second half, Reserve Bank of India launched a portal called as UDGAM portal. Please remember the name. right? They have launched a portal called as UDGAM portal. What is this UDGAM portal? UDGAM portal has been launched by Reserve Bank of India, wherein customers by providing certain details can check if they have any unclaimed deposits. I hope you understand this. I'll repeat it again. It's a portal website. The customers can check whether they have any unclaimed deposit. In fact, UDGAM stands for unclaimed deposits, gateway to access information, Is it okay? Right? This is called as UDGAM portal. So using UDGAM portal, which was launched last year only by Reserve Bank of India, you can provide certain details, check whether you have any unclaimed deposit. Now you can use this data to find and basically approach the respective bank and claim back your deposit. That is point number 1. Point number 2, in the month of January this year, the Ministry of Finance has asked multiple banks not to convert certain inoperative accounts into dormant accounts. Please understand this. There are certain accounts which have not been operated by the customers of the bank. Many of the banks have converted these accounts into inoperative or dormant account. And the issue is that once your account is converted into a dormant account, you cannot conduct transactions. You cannot withdraw money from that account. And the issue here is, many of you will simply ask me, sir, then why are the customers not using the accounts? They should use the account. My dear, let's say millions of people or crores of people who have opened bank accounts under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana for receiving certain benefits, receiving subsidies from the government. Do you think they'll keep on operating these accounts on monthly basis? Many of these people might have forgotten to operate it. Many of these people may not even have realized that they have unclaimed deposit, or many of these people would have certain relatives, spouses, parents who have passed away, and they do not know that there are bank accounts like this on these people's name. That is the reason the government of India has asked banking sector to wait and do not convert all of these accounts into dormant account. Reason is, imagine I'm one of the beneficiary and my account has become a dormant account. Government of India wants to transfer certain benefit under a scheme into this account. Now, because the account has become dormant, government will find it difficult to transfer funds, or even the beneficiary will find it difficult to withdraw the benefits from the bank account. So these are the two very important points which were there in the newspaper regarding the DEA fund, UDGAM portal, dormant account, etc., etc. So please be very careful. Questions can be asked on these concepts in the preliminary examination. The next article, the government has launched a new portal. Government has launched a new portal which will be used to provide loans against harvested commodities by the farmers. Now, what is the issue all about? What is the concept all about? Let's start. Here is a farmer. The farmer has cultivated the crop. Now, either he will face issues because there is no warehousing capacity. Warehousing means a storage capacity. There is no warehousing capacity nearby. So, he will simply take all the crops, sell it in the market. Or else the farmer doesn't want to pay lot of these charges associated with warehouses, and he will simply take the crop to the market, sell it in the market. But more importantly, understand this carefully. Whenever the farmers will harvest the crop and bring the crop without storing a large part of it or some of it, if they bring the crop to the market, supply to the market or supply in the market would be very high. When the supply is higher, market prices would be very low. So the farmer who has spent a lot of money, has spent months and months together to cultivate the crop, will be in a distress and will end up selling this at throwaway prices. For example, many of the times you must have seen farmers are selling tomatoes at 3 rupees per kg, 2 rupees per kg, which basically means they will not be able to recover even the money that they have spent for cultivation. Forget about earning profits. They are not even able to recover the money that they have spent for the cultivation of the crop. So this is basically called as a distress sale. This is called as distress sale. In order to address the issue of distress sale, Government of India has introduced the concept of negotiable warehouse receipt, NWR, negotiable warehouse receipt. And this negotiable warehouse receipt is issued in a digital form now, hence this is called as electronic negotiable warehouse receipt, ENWR. Now what has the Government of India done here? The Government of India has launched a portal. It has launched a portal. What is the name of the portal? e-Upaja Kisaan Nidhi. e-Upaja Kisaan Nidhi. And what is the use of the portal here? What is the use of this platform? Basically it says the farmers whenever they will submit the crops to warehouses, the Upaja Kisaan Nidhi, the portal will provide lot of information to the farmers and will help the farmers to get collateral free loans. Will help the farmers to get collateral free loans at lower rate of interest from the market. How so? If a farmer is registered, now in the e-Upaja Kisaan Nidhi, it will check what is the CIBIL score. It will use, again when I say what is the CIBIL score, please understand what is the credit worthiness of the borrower. It will also check multiple data sets. For example, they might check the taxation servers, they might check the CIBIL scores, etc. And they will give the farmers, they will basically evaluate the farmer. That is point number one. Point number two, the portal will also provide what kind of loans are provided. What kind of loans are provided by which banks at what rate of interest. The portal will also provide what kind of the information regarding what kind of loans are provided by which banks and what rate of interest. And these loans, please understand, will be collateral free. Now the benefit of this portal is the farmer, once he cultivates, harvests the crop, rather than going to the market, taking the crop all the way to the market when the supply is very high and earning very low amount of money, entering into distress sale, now the farmer using this portal will get ENWR, negotiable warehouse receipt, and take a loan from a bank, collateral free loan, take a loan, collateral free loan from the bank at a rate of interest around 7%. So this is the benefit of e-Upaja, electronic Upaja Kisaan Nidhi portal. And what kind of warehouses will be allowed to take the food grains here? Please understand this. There is an authority in India, Warehouse Development Regulatory Authority, WDRA, Warehouse Development Regulatory Authority. All those warehouses which are registered, I repeat, all those warehouses which are registered with the WDRA, now they will be allowed to accept the food grains and they can issue these negotiable warehouse receipts. And if you just look at the data here, the number of warehouses in India are more than 1 lakh in number. The number of warehouses in India are more than 1 lakh in number. And out of more than 1 lakh warehouses in India, only around 5,600 are actually registered with the WDRA. Right? There are multiple reasons. For example, whenever the warehouses are supposed to get a license, they are supposed to pay certain amount of money to WDRA. The minister has asked if we can reduce this particular amount that they will have to provide, refundable amount, non-refundable amount that they will have to provide to get a license. So these are certain important points in association with the e-Upaja Kisaan Nidhi, which appeared in Financial Express on the 5th of March. Let me go to the next article. RBI has tasked NBBL. RBI has asked NBBL to ensure net banking is interoperable in 2024. Point number one, what is NBBL? NPCIL, Bharat Bill Pay Limited. Now, what is this idea of interoperable? Why RBI is promoting net interoperability? Let's try and understand. Let's say you have a phone, and I'm pretty sure all of you have a phone, either Samsung phone, iPhone, or even any other phone. Don't worry, Xiaomi phone, don't worry. Now, please do let me know. You want to make a call from your phone to your friend, either on a landline or on their mobile phone. assuming they have a landline even today, because most of the people have given away or have done away with the idea of a landline. But anyways, you want to make a call from your phone to their landline or mobile phone. Please do let me know, is it very easy or very difficult to make a call? Do you have to be registered with anybody else? All you will do is open your mobile, right? Basically go to the mobile number of your friend and click call or hit the call button. Automatically the call will go, which means, can I simply say, the phones are interoperable. Interoperability means, please understand, first and foremost, many of you will say, sir, what do you mean by interoperability? Interoperability means there are multiple systems which are communicating, talking in simple terms, which are communicating with each other with very much ease. There are no issues, there are no concerns. The systems are communicating, exchanging data with very much ease. That is called as interoperability. Can I give you one more example? If you have a mobile number, you are registered as a customer with, let's say, Jio phone, right? Or let's say Jio number, can you easily make a call to your friend who has, let's say, who is a customer of Vodafone India, or who is a customer of BSNL, who is a customer of Airtel, etc. So can I simply say these systems are interoperable? You can easily make a call without having to go through any registration process as long as you have balance in your account. This is basically concept of interoperability. Now, what is the connection of interoperability with NBBL? What is this net interoperability? Let's try and understand. Imagine you want to conduct a transaction online. And please understand, when I say transaction online, for example, you want to purchase something from Amazon. There are different modes of payment. Now, many of you ask me, sir, why only Amazon? Right? Are you being paid money from Amazon? Are you marketing Amazon? Of course, no. Absolutely no. You want to purchase something from Blinkit, something from Amazon, you want to pay income taxes, you want to pay mutual funds, etc. There are multiple modes through which you can make a transaction. You can pay the money. For example, you can use your debit card, you can use your credit card, you can use online banking. I hope you understand. You can use online banking and you can use even UPI. But what RBI says is, most of the customers even today, for example, they want to make insurance premium payment. They want to make insurance premium payment. They want to pay for mutual funds. They want to pay for taxation, etc. They want to pay taxes to the government. They want to purchase something from the merchants online, etc. One of the favorite mode of a transaction is online transaction. The most favored mode of a transaction is using your online bank account. That is important. Online bank account. You want to make a payment. But the issue here is, whenever you want to make a payment, please understand the process. Here is a company, or I'll simply say merchant. This merchant will have an agreement, a tie-up with a payment aggregator. Sir, who is a payment aggregator? For example, Google Pay is a payment aggregator. Razor Pay is a payment aggregator. Amazon Pay is a payment aggregator. There are totally 18 payment aggregators in India. So the merchant has to have an agreement with a payment aggregator. Now, whenever you will try to purchase or make a payment, your bank account you will use, the bank should also have an agreement with the same payment aggregator. Is it okay? I hope you understand this. For example, you want to purchase or you want to make certain payment. Now, let's say the income tax department has a tie-up with Razor Pay. Your bank in which you have an account from which you want to transfer money, the bank should also have a tie-up with Razor Pay. But the problem here, RBI says the problem here is there are 18 payment aggregators. And over a period of time, these 18 payment aggregators will provide or will enter into tie-up with different banks, different merchants throughout the Indian economy. So a bank cannot keep on entering into agreement with all these payment aggregators. That's very difficult. It's a very lengthy process. It's a cumbersome process. And as a result of this, the funds which are transferred to the merchants might be delayed in certain cases. So what is the solution? Now RBI says, let's make the whole process interoperable. Let's make the whole process interoperable, meaning what? Whether the bank in which you have an account, whether it has a tie-up with Razorpay or not does not matter. Whatever PA with whom you have a payment, with whom the bank has an agreement, they can easily transfer the funds through Razorpay to the tax department. In simple terms, just like you understood making a phone call from Jio to, let's say, right, a Vodafone India number, now whether your bank has an agreement with Razorpay, whether it has agreement with Google Pay, and the receiver, that is the merchant, whether they have agreement with the same payment aggregator, doesn't matter. The whole process will be made interoperable. In simple terms, it's like setting a clearing house. I hope you understand. It's like setting a clearing house. From which source the money will come does not matter. From which PA the money will come does not matter. Whether they have an agreement or not with the merchant, now money will be transferred to the merchant. That is called as interoperability. It is called as interoperability. And Reserve Bank of India now says in the net banking also, we will introduce, right, interoperability, and NBBL has been asked to ensure that this will be done in 2024 itself. Now, what is the advantage? Is there any benefit of this? Please understand. Because this is a very favorite mode, one of the most favorite modes of making transactions, RBI now says many customers will feel much more comfortable, right? Even though their payment aggregators are not in agreement with the merchant, they will feel very comfortable. They will not face any hassle. That is the first very important advantage or benefit. Second, this will provide a level playing field. This will provide a level playing field to all the payment aggregators. What do you mean by level playing field? There are certain payment aggregators who have taken a first mover advantage and they have entered into agreements with multiple banks and multiple merchants. And small payment aggregators, now they are not able to compete with these bigger payment aggregators. With the idea of interoperability, even these smaller payment aggregators will get the same chance now. That will be promoting, or this will be providing an impetus to small PAs. The third one is, the RBI says, over a period of time, if this system becomes favorable, once it is made interoperable, the customers might more and more times, more often than not, start using this mode of a transaction. Why? If you use a card, there is a concept of MDR, merchant discount rate. Here, in these cases, that is internet banking, once it is made interoperable, the charges are not there. Hence, the customers might find it much more, right, beneficial to shift and conduct the idea of a net banking whenever they want to make payments to the merchants like this. But having said so, some of the experts have raised a concern saying that many of these payment aggregators who have entered into agreement with companies or merchants over a period of time, they had a first mover advantage. Now they'll be losing all of that first mover advantage. But more importantly, remember the last point here, Reserve Bank of India has stated that this idea of interoperability, the idea of interoperability will be basically an outcome, right? It will be an outcome of, right, the initiative, the plan that the Reserve Bank of India has. Right, Reserve Bank of India has a plan to promote digital transactions, digital payment. It will be one of the points, right, or one of the initiatives that they are taking under the digital promotion of these transactions or promotion of digital transactions. Done. So these are certain very, very important points regarding interoperability. Now next, the Government of India very recently has launched a portal by the name of Chakshu portal. Right now, it is not available to the customers, but going forward, that is individuals, going forward, the minister stated that this will be made available to all the individuals. Now, what is this Chakshu all about? What is the issue? Please understand. In the last 1 year, Reserve Bank of India and even Government of India has been worried about digital frauds. They have been worried about a lot of these digital frauds. On one side, the government as well as RBI wants to promote digital banking, digital transactions should be promoted. But on the other side, it has also been found that many of these, there have been many instances where poor people, innocent people, the people who do not have much of digital literacy, they have been cheated out of their hard-earned money. For example, many of the times, I have received it, I am pretty sure you also have received it. We will receive a message or we will receive a mail, we will receive a call saying that your account will be blocked if you do not do this right now. Your debit card will be blocked if you don't do this right now. You will receive a message saying that if you want to protect your this, let's say, asset, you want to protect your bank account, etc., click on the following link, etc., etc. So various instances have taken place where digital frauds have been committed. And now to address the issue of digital frauds, earlier the telecom authority has blocked lakhs of mobile numbers in India. Lakhs of mobile numbers have been blocked. And after that, basically we have set up a process, right? We have launched a process wherein if you are receiving certain, or if you have been cheated under digital frauds, if you have already been cheated, there is a portal which has been set up where you can raise a complaint. After this, right, last week itself, the Telecom Regulatory Authority has issued a paper. It has given a recommendations wherein it now says we should provide caller identification. By default, we should provide caller identification. That is, right now, for example, let's say if you receive a call and there is a mobile number, a 10-digit mobile number, you do not know who is the person who is calling from the other side. Many of you simply say, sir, but there is a true caller. Correct, there is a true caller. But even true caller has certain catch. Many of the times it will show spam, it will show the number as a spam, but many of the times you want to check a number, they will ask you to subscribe to their services. They will ask, you want to use only free version, you please purchase this service, etc., etc. So what Telecom Regulatory Authority has stated is, why don't we introduce caller identification, which means once it is introduced, anybody who calls me, their names will be displayed. Their name will be displayed. That will help me in identifying whether this person, whether he is a known person, unknown person, etc., etc. So that is one measure that has been proposed. Now, the Telecom Department, the Department of Telecom has launched a portal by the name of Chakshu. What is the use of this what is the use of this portal? This portal will be available, it's just factual information, please make a note of this. This facility will be available at sancharasathi.gov, and in this facility, whenever you receive a message wherein, let's say, they are asking you for a KYC update, right, or there are certain frauds associated with, let's say, SIM numbers, right, payment of certain money through wallet, etc., electricity connection, the request has been sent to you, right, KYC update, expiry mail has been, or message has been sent to you. So whenever you receive these kind of fraud related messages, you can simply go onto this portal and you can report this message. Now government now says the process will be, once you raise this request, once you submit this information, authentication will be done. If the other person who has sent this message, if this is not genuine, if it is not a genuine, let's say, message which has been sent, it will be deemed to be a fraud message and that number will be disabled. That is basically the process that has been proposed under the Chakshu portal. Now, the importance of this article is only for prelims. I don't expect UPSC will ask you a question on Chakshu portal in the mains. But please understand, if there is a question in the mains examination regarding methods which have been taken, processes, or let's say measures which have been taken to control digital frauds, definitely mention Chakshu portal. Let me go to the next article. The banking watchdog cracks down on lenders gaming capital rules. Now, what is this idea? Please understand this. Whenever you talk about the domestic banking sector or even international banking sector, there will be certain banks which are called as systemically important banks, SIBs, systemically important banks. Why these are called as systemically important banks? Any bank whose collapse will have a widespread impact on the economy. I'll repeat my statement. Any bank whose collapse of this bank will have a huge impact on the economy, these are called as systemically important banks. At the international level, the systemically important banks are identified by Financial Stability Board, FSB. And in the domestic market, we call this as a D-SIB, domestic systemically important bank, and at the global level, we'll call this as a G-SIB, right? That is a global systemically important bank. So the domestic systemically important banks are identified by Reserve Bank of India. For example, SBI, right? State Bank of India, HDFC, these are examples of domestic systemically important banks. Now, what is the issue all about? What is being discussed in the article here? There is an organization, basically a committee, part of a BIS, a committee by the name of Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. A Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. This committee is important, generally in the civil services, important for a simple reason. Under banking sector, you must have come across Basel 1 guideline, Basel 2 guideline and Basel 3 guideline. Now, what is the issue all about? What has been the concern raised by this authority in the article? It has been found that many of these global systemically important banks, that is G-SIBS, they are gaming, they are trying to manipulate the system. They are using a loophole in the system. What is a loophole? Let's say hypothetically, you are operating a systemically important bank. Now, because you are so important for the whole economy, global economy, whatever regulations are applicable to other banks, the same regulation at much stricter level. Is it okay? The regulations at a much stricter level, at a much higher level will be applicable to you. Now, what you are doing is, I am asking you to give the report, right? Submit the information regarding these measures or regulations. For example, capital adequacy ratio. I will ask you to submit the report regarding the capital adequacy ratio, let's say hypothetically, on 31st or by 31st December. Now, what you will do is, you will try to game, you will try to change the numbers in such a way, change in the sense, manage your operation such a way that by 31st December, your balance sheet will show your capital adequacy ratio is very, very high. Is it okay? On 31st December, you will manage in the sense, you will, right, basically table your operations, right? You will schedule your operations in such a way that on 31st December, the capital adequacy ratio will show very high. And please remember, higher the capital adequacy ratio means the bank has more capital to absorb losses. That is a comforting feature for an investor. So on 31st December, I will show you that, see, my capital adequacy ratio is very high. But throughout the year, I'll keep on taking very, very risky investments. I'll keep on giving large number of loans which are very risky, as a result of which my capital adequacy ratio could be much, much lower. Which means the capital that is available with me is not sufficient to absorb the losses. So it has been found that, again, this is one example. Do not worry about how they are gaming the system. That is not important. This is one such example where it has been found that Basel Committee or Basel has found that many of these global systemic important banks are trying to manipulate. They are trying to use a loophole in the system. That is the reason now the authority says that, right, throughout the year we'll keep on asking the data from you. Throughout the year, you'll have to keep on disclosing, right, rather than simply giving on that day, on that particular point, what is the data, you will have to give me throughout the year what is the average data, right, thereby trying to ensure that these systemically important banks are not able to manipulate, are not able to take a risk, and not able to put the risk, not able to put the whole economy or international market under the risk. Some of you might be thinking, sir, what are you saying? How they are going to put the whole economy into risk? My dear, imagine, again imagine, I am not saying it is happening, so imagine, what if State Bank of India will violate all of these provisions? By the way, it is a D-SIB. It will violate all of these provisions now and keep on lending, right, under unsecured loans. They will provide huge amount of loans under unsecured loans because they will say, I will have to give the report on 31st December, we'll see then, we'll manage it then. So don't you think if the economy collapses, if particular sector where lot of these unsecured loans are given, if that sector collapses, the banking sector will be under pressure because SBI is a very large bank. If people or investors will start losing confidence on SBI, there will be outflow of deposits. That will be a detrimental impact to the whole economy. It has happened in the past also. In fact, the whole idea of G-SIB was an outcome of global financial crisis that happened in the year 2008. Okay, so next article, Shah launches, right, the Home Minister has launched umbrella body for urban cooperative banks. Now, in the last couple of years, there has been a lot of discussion regarding cooperative banks in India. Many of these cooperative banks have incurred losses. In many of the cases, the customers' deposits have been put at risk. The best example for this is Punjab Maharashtra Cooperative Bank. So there has been a lot of discussion regarding stabilizing cooperative banking structure in India. Right now, under Banking Regulation Act, which was amended back in the year 2020, lot of powers have been given to Reserve Bank of India to oversee the functioning of cooperative banks in India. Now, in addition to this, Government of India also has taken various measures to basically promote cooperative sector or specifically cooperative banking sector in India. For example, Government of India has set up a Ministry for Cooperation. The ministry has been promoting having at least one cooperative bank, urban cooperative bank in every town, every city in India. Right? Many of these reforms have been promoted, have been promoted by the government as well as Reserve Bank of India. Now, one more very important reform, that is the Government of India, that is the Ministry of Cooperation, has launched National Urban Cooperative Finance and Development Corporation Limited. Please remember the name, just factual information as of now, please remember this. The government has launched, right, an umbrella organization basically which will oversee the functioning of urban cooperative banks. The name of that is National Urban Cooperative Finance and Development Corporation Limited. The basic idea is the authority, that is this umbrella body, will oversee the urban cooperative banks, and it has stated that there are more than 11,000 branches of UCBs, 1,500 banks with deposits over 5 lakh crore rupee have been brought under, as of now, this authority. The authority will oversee, will promote the growth of urban cooperative banks in India. So just for factual information, you can use this nugget in the prelims if at all a question is asked, or in the mains if there is a question on how Government of India or what measures have been taken by the government to promote cooperative structure in India. So these are the various articles that I wanted to discuss with you people in this video. Now before I wind up, many of the students keep on writing a mail to me. Even in the comment section, they keep on asking one question, sir, how do we cope up with current affairs? Not just economic current affairs. I'm concerned, I'm worried about current affairs in polity, current affairs in international relations, etc. Do not worry. We at Unacademy, we have launched Unacademy's Current Affairs Navigator, UCAN program. This will be a comprehensive current affairs course for civil services examination. And the beauty of this program is that the classes in this program will be taught by respective subject faculties. And we will ensure that it will be a one-stop destination for current affairs covering all the exhaustive resources, newspapers, PIB, Yojana, Kurukshetra, etc. Regarding the classes will be conducted on 4 days, that is from Tuesday to Friday. Timing is 9:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. For further details, please click on the link section to get the details. So these are the various things I wanted to discuss with you people. If you find this initiative helpful, please hit the like button, and if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, kindly do it now. Thank you. Have a great day.